Hard day for us as far as we got to get got the Washington game reviewed, got to get it moving on to Chicago, which is where we're at right now. So it's really like a Wednesday kind of morning in our world here as we move through the week, make sure we get everything done to get ready for the game. Try to put out the injury report the best we could as far as, approximating who would be practicing, who would not. The guys that we listed as no practice, just so everybody gets it right, is Agnew, Flowers, Hall, Rashawn Melvin, and Stafford. So those are the guys that we would just assume would not be able to practice today if we were in that situation. Other than that, obviously reviewed the game. Not a great game for us. Didn't obviously get things done that we needed to get done. Too many mistakes in the game to overcome from that aspect of it. Some positives in there, but just too many negatives, for us from that standpoint. So not the way we wanted the game to go. Give Washington credit. They made enough plays, obviously, to win. And for us, it's really about, obviously a big week for us this week against Chicago, against a division opponent. So, played a lot of young guys out there yesterday, played a lot of different guys out there. I thought there was some good effort, some improvement in some of the categories that we had out there. But obviously, overall, collectively as a team, not good enough from that standpoint. So I just kind of open it up to questions just so we can get moving. And then, I know you guys want to get into the locker room too. So go ahead.
A short week. Driscoll's on the injury report, and it's a hamstring, which seems kind of important given the mobility and importance to what he does. Where does that put you, I guess, in this week with the quarterback position? Do you need to add some depth there just as insurance?
I think for us right now, it's obviously the day after the game, so these are always really tricky to kind of try to figure out from that aspect of it. He's sore, from the game yesterday. He ran a lot, and his hamstring's a little tight. So we'll see how the week goes from that standpoint, and, I'm sure he'll get treatment and all that stuff when it goes. I think, we can all see his athleticism out there on the field and what that brings from that standpoint, but he is a quarterback, so he can stand in the pocket and throw and do some of those things. So some of the, some things like that can be, just handled by the position, I would say, more than anything else. It'd be different, I think, if it was a wide receiver or somebody from that standpoint. So we'll just see how it goes. Again, it's so soon after the game from that deal. We'll see what that looks like. I think there was a report out there that we had contacted Josh Johnson, who obviously is somebody that's familiar with our system. We always kind of just do our due diligence on some of those calls, especially on a short week where, somebody came up a little bit tight after the game, and in this particular case, the quarterback position. But we'll just kind of evaluate it as it goes for the week.
It did say that XFL blocked those conversations. So
yeah.
Have you made some other calls, I guess?
I'm not really sure the details of what happened with that, but certainly he was just someone that was here that, knew the system and that we, had some familiarity with. So I'm just kind of doing our due diligence there.
What sort of development have you seen from David Blau in practice, and do you think he's ready if he has to go out?
I think both of those guys, even really through the course of the year, have done a really good job at just preparing every single week to get ready to go play, just in case they had to go in and play. And, I would say for him, just learning the system and being confident in, the play calls and some of the reads and things like that. So he takes those reps also in practice, just to be ready to go. So, but we'll see. Both that, I think that room in general, all three of those guys, they work really hard every single week, and I think obviously they follow along with Matthew and kind of his preparation and what he does, and very competitive group, so they like to outcompete each other even with the preparation part of it. And I think Blau falls right in line with those other two guys as far as the prep part of it.
You had 7 of your draft picks active on Sunday. It seems like a lot of this for one team. And also Nada and Bryant had their first action. I don't know how they came through.
Yeah, we did. I think we had maybe seven. Yeah, I think it was 7 starters that were inactive, yesterday. So that's always a little bit difficult from that aspect of it, or role players, or however you want to put it. But I think the young guys. I think, Austin, first game. Certainly some things out there in the NFL game that are a little bit different. I think he worked hard. He tried to compete, and just some different looks and things like that recognition stuff that we got to keep working through. Thought he did a good job with the communication on the sideline, trying to get some of the checks and adjustments, things like that, and some of the things that we're doing to try to modify as we were going along. So that was good. Nada, same thing. First action, in a real game. So I think it took a little while for both those guys just to settle down a little bit and kind of slow, get into the game and the groove of the game of what it's like. So that was their first action of that, and obviously we're hoping as we push forward, all that will get better and we'll just be a little bit more consistent from the start.
You guys Warrior, he's gotten a little bit more
Yeah.
playing time and had a nice play there to pick. What do you like about his progression?
Yeah, I think we were probably close with Monney before, trying to get him out on the field, and then he got a little bit hung up with an injury, and then kind of delayed it. So just felt it was, good progress through practice, through some of the things that we were doing, where I felt he was good with the calls and ready, to kind of go out there. And it was good to see him make some plays. The interception was actually a really good play. He was kind of a little bit behind the receiver, reached through, pulled the ball, back into him. So I thought that was good from that aspect of it. Some communication things out there that I thought were good, some plays that we got to get better on. But I think just that the preparation part of it to me is, I would say, where he's been the most consistent as of late, just preparing to get ready to go. Even, through a little bit of an injury, I thought he was preparing and getting himself mentally ready to go from the game plan standpoint. So, you always like to feel as a coach, before you actually get, guys like that active for the game and out there on the field, that they've maybe mentally gone through a couple weeks of, hey, getting ready to go, being prepared, and in that situation. Just felt that was what the case is.
Where's your head at right now with coming into this organization with a plan, with goals,
Yeah.
and obviously not in black and white, the records, the results are not there.
Yep.
Where is your level of disappointment right now and what's happened the last year and a half?
I'm always disappointed when we don't win. That's certainly, I think everybody that knows me knows how competitive, I am, and that's what we're trying to do. But I would say for me, in this team, we're fighting every single week to try to go out and do our best and, make sure we're putting ourselves in a position where we can, have that opportunity to win. I also know that this is a process. I know there's a lot in play here that we're going through, and we're trying to build, and we're trying to do the best we can to, improve and get better. And sometimes for us, we try to just stay on task at hand for the week, and it's one game seasons for us. But on top of that, we're looking at other things as far as, the development of some of the younger players and the guys that are out there, and just how those, even the guys that have been around for a while, are improving and going through and learning and, improving. So for us, it's just part of the process as we go forward. Yeah, we got everybody following up. Hang on. We'll get to everybody.
Do you firmly believe that this process still outweighs the black and white in the results and the record right now?
Yeah, for me, we're going to go out and try to do everything we can to win this week. And I understand that from that aspect of it, we are trying to build something. I do understand that. And for me, I feel like, we got a lot of guys out there working really hard, and that's where my focus is. My focus is on the guys that, are in here today, the guys that are trying to get better, the guys that are trying to go out and win, for us on Thursday. So that's really what I worry about.
Where do you think you are in the process? Are we rock bottom, halfway through? Do you see how bright is the future?
I think it's always hard to judge, and say definitively this is exactly where we are and where we're going to be. I would say that I'm always encouraged by the way that the team right now fights every single week. I'm encouraged by some of the players that, I see out there improving and getting better and playing more consistent, and even some of the players that have been forced into kind of action because of whatever circumstance may be, showing up every week in a positive way. So I think that's all, things that we look for as signs that we're moving in a good direction from that standpoint of at least trying to improve, overall as a team. But, for me right now, it's about this week. It's about, trying to prepare to get ready for Chicago. It's such a short week for us. That's really got to be our big focus. Go ahead, Jeff.
Have you talked to the Ford field or Ford family rather, and are you pretty certain that you're going to be back next year? Because I think a lot of people are wondering if this is the end of the road.
For me, again, I kind of say this all the time. I talk to them, every week, and I like to keep those conversations private as far as that's concerned, what we talk about and when we talk. But again, I'm just every single day come in here trying to work and trying to get the team better, and that's my focus. I think.
Are you pretty certain you'll be back next year?
Again, I'm just grinding here today and trying to get ready for the game on Thursday. I think that's what we all do, no matter what job we have. I think we're all just go out and try to work hard at the job that day. Certainly, that's all we can control. Sure, of course.
The building process, are there obvious benchmarks in the build, and can you see, I guess, that blocks have been added on from where you were at the end of maybe last season?
Yeah. It's probably a good, question I would say, probably keep grinding here through this season and see where we're at when we reflect on the last two. But I think there's certainly things for me that I look at that say these certain areas are better and these certain areas need to improve. That's definitely true from that standpoint. So But again, I think for us right now, just because we're in season, we're fighting, we're trying to go win on Thursday. We're really looking at what do we have to do as a team to go win this week and do our best to go do that.